Hey Nomies, Chuck and Sue. Want to talk to you about the last week of our camping. At the beginning of last week, we were still in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan at F.J. McLean State Park, which is on the Keweenaw Peninsula north of Houghton and Hancock. It was a really nice state park. We had some Lake Superior weather, crazy wind. We got there and it was really warm, but overnight it turned what felt like frigid, but I think it was only in the 50s. But the next 2 days we wore blue jeans. And our first day there, we went from the state park up to Eagle Harbor, Michigan, and there's a really cool old lighthouse complex there. Hey, we are at the Eagle Harbor Lighthouse and Museum Complex in Eagle Harbor, Michigan. There's the lighthouse, which is still a working light, but you can go in it for like maybe the first 2 floors. There's a commercial fishing museum. There's the Kewanee Historical Society Museum and a gift shop museum, and I forget what that museum is, but it's really beautiful here. Cool. That's a combination wood and electric stove.
Okay, what are the 5 things we liked about Michigan? Number 1.
The roads.
Best roads in the country. Every state DOT department should send their engineers to Michigan and see what they do right. The worst back farm roads are better than most of the U.S. highways and state highways anywhere in the country.
For sure.
Unbelievable. Even the gravel roads are better than most paved roads in Maine and Pennsylvania and New York. Oh my God.
Yeah, really awesome roads.
Yeah. Okay.
And number 2, to go along with the roads, are the roadside pullovers, rest areas.
Yep.
Immaculate. The cleanest vault toilets. Every single one we stopped at. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, and they were all over the place. You didn't have to be on a highway, on an interstate, and drive 50 miles between them. They were on all the back routes, the U.S. highways, the state highways, and they just had ample, immaculate, clean rest stops. Very nice.
And I think to go along with that, even the roadsides are clean. You know, somebody's doing their job up here, and
yeah.
It's really nice to enjoy the litter-free area. Number 3, your favorite, the cherries.
Yeah.
It's been cherry season.
Sweet cherries, delicious.
Fantastic.
Number 4,
the lakes. Had no idea.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
Yeah, all 3 Great Lakes.
Yeah, you know, when you look at a map of Michigan, you're kind of looking at the state, and you just don't realize how much water that is surrounding this. And even although we didn't go to Detroit, you know, Lake Ontario's down there. It's just beautiful. And number 5,
Go ahead.
the people. Everyone has been super friendly, super kind. I think I love Michigan, really and truly. I have thoroughly enjoyed it here.
We had a good trip. We didn't go to the cities, so we stayed pretty much in the woods, but
yeah,
it's been very nice.
And then to add to that, 2 things that we didn't do. One is Mackinac Island, which everybody says you've got to do, and which I'm sure is awesome, but it's just not us. We're more about, you know, being out in nature. So maybe next time, and for sure next time, the Sioux Locks over at Sault Ste. Marie. We just didn't get over there.
Yep.
And so that's
Save that
next
for
time.
Next trip.
For sure.
Okay. All right, so that puts us up to the northern Wisconsin part of our tour. We are camping in a national forest campground. The national forest is called
Schwamigan
Nicollet. And we are right on a lake. You can see it's getting windy. It's in the afternoon now. This is called Birch Grove Campground. This is our campsite at Birch Grove Campground. It's a U.S. Forest Service campground in northern Wisconsin. It is $7.50 a night with our Golden Age Pass, our senior pass. As you can see, we've had a beautiful lakeside seat here to watch the loons and the birds all week. Fantastic. There's only maybe a dozen or 18 campsites in here, no campground host.
Yeah.
A couple of immaculate concrete vault toilets that you couldn't ask for better.
Wow.
It's got a pretty hard to use hand pump for well water, so we've been carrying our water out of town as we go to town. Let's see how much effort to get a drink of water out of this thing.
Come on, water. There it is. Oh, but it quit.
Ah, a lot of work.
And no amount of pumping will keep it running. It only runs when it's being pumped.
Anyway, this has been our headquarters for the last 5 days. Now, what have we done for our tourist stuff?
So, tourist stuff day 1, we went over to Myers Beach, which is on Superior, and we took the Lakeshore Trail, which is like 4 miles round trip, relatively easy, and you hike along above the Sea Cave cliffs, and you could
on Lake Superior.
On Lake Superior, they call them sea caves. I don't know, but beautiful hiking once you got up on top of those cliffs, and you could see the kayakers and the waves and hear the waves.
Those caves are the ones that are called the ice caves in the winter that people love to visit.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Oh, is our screen room coming down on us?
Okay, let me finish this text. Oh my goodness.
This is the Bowl Sea Caves at Apostle Islands National Lakeshore. We are on the Lakeshore Trail right now.
About 2 miles in. Day 2 of touristy things, we rode the ferry. We walked onto the ferry with our bicycles and rode the ferry over to Madeline Island, which is the only Apostle Island that is not part of the National Lake Shore because it had too many private property on it. They couldn't afford to buy everybody out. And rode our bikes.
That is the largest of the Apostle Islands, and it's about a 30-minute ferry ride. For us two and our bicycles, I think it was $41, something like that, a little expensive. They charge like 16 bucks for to bring your bike across. Although we had a great time riding our bikes. We rode up to a Wisconsin State Park called
Big Bay.
Big Bay State Park, and went out on the boardwalk, looked at the beach. There is a campground there. If you're lucky enough to book it, I guess you can get in there. It would be beach type camping. But we had a great day and ate some delicious whitefish on the island before coming back.
Which would have been our second delicious meal of whitefish.
Eagle claw, maybe?
We're going to pee. We'll be right back.
Where are we at, dear?
We are at Madeline Island in the Apostle Islands. We rode our bikes out here. This is the Big Bay State Park.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, in northern Wisconsin. And we are walking on the boardwalk on the beach. We're riding our bikes in Big Bay State Park, Wisconsin, located on Madeline Island, the largest of the Apostle Islands. It's a beautiful day on Lake Superior.
It is, it is.
And then today, what did we do?
Today we rode the catamaran, the archipelago, out and did the Apostle Island cruise.
The Grand Tour.
The Grand Tour. Lake Superior was being Lake Superior. It wasn't too choppy, only about 1.5 foot seas, the captain thought. But man, oh man, was the wind blowing.
was pretty windy.
Yeah.
It was nice. We got to see all 22 of the Apostle Islands. Got to see a couple of lighthouses.
Couple of lighthouses, an old fish camp.
Old fish camp.
The only fish camp that's left.
And some pretty cool shoreline. Got to hear the good stories from the captain. So it was nice. We went back to town, Bayfield, and got us some whitefish. Actually, whitefish tacos for lunch. So,
they were delicious.
Yeah, we've been eating our fill of Great Lakes fish since we've been up here.
Now those rocks that you see in the water between Lookout Point and the island, that used to be an archway that collapsed back in the 1970s. For those of you on the left-hand side, look over there, you can see Michigan Island. Now we still have a little bit of haze. Yesterday is actually a pretty clear day because we have all the rain the early morning hours before. This haze that we're having is from the wildland fires up in Canada and out west. Over on Stockton Island, they found that Stockton Island had the highest concentration of black bear. A couple days. The researchers will go back out. They will go ahead and collect. We're coming up in front of the Foghorn building. That big concrete block was used for a gin pole to offload the Coast Guard cutter when they would nose in. Look up at the lighthouse. This tower was built in 1901. There had been a lighthouse established on this island 3 years prior. It was a temporary structure. Produced the same characteristics as what that large Fresnel lens did. This light is the only lighthouse here in the Apostle Islands that has a red color, 360 degrees. For those of you on the right-hand side, you can see the East Landing here, where President Calvin Coolidge had his lunch. Particular rails are just like the ones we talked about out at Devil's Island, where there was a cart that they could lower down, a narrow gauge cart. They could lower it down and winch it up with their supplies.
Well, we must mention the very best aspect of this campground that we've enjoyed the most, I think, of any campground we've been in so far. And it is
the loons.
Absolutely.
There's a pair of loons who seem to make this little lake home, and they're out there all day long floating, and he fishes and gets her a fish and swims over and gives her a fish. There's been some other chicks seeing hummingbirds and a bird we've yet to identify.
It's a new species.
Yeah,
unknown to mankind, unknown to Audubon Guide.
But the
birding's been spectacular.
Yeah.
And waking up in the morning and watching the loon calls and hearing the loon calls, watching the flight of the loons, having the loon fly right over your head where you can hear the flapping of the wings, and hearing loon from this lake calling the loon from the lake adjacent to us, and the calls back and forth has been spectacular. I know why people are fascinated with loons. They are surely a magnificent bird.
Yes.
Also, on an added note, on our bicycle trip to Madeline Island yesterday, we saw a large golden eagle, and today on the boat trip to the Apostle Island, we saw a bald eagle and a immature bald eagle, 2 eagles on that trip. So it's been great birding.
It certainly has.
Okay, Nomies, we're going to try to get this posted, and we will hope to have an update on Minnesota further on down the line.
Fare thee well, Nomies.
Fare thee well.